the reigning MVP, A'ja Wilson, to the show. Okay, A'ja, we want to talk about this matchup and move forward a little bit, but can we take a look back to Sunday? Because you're used to dropping a 30-point game, but you dropped 32 and 20, just completely shattering the record books. What was your mindset going into that game?
My mindset going in was just getting the win. We need to continue to stack wins the right way and play within our system. So going in, I just wanted to make sure that all my teammates and I were just all on the same page. And so we came out with a win, which is something that I was very happy for.
Well, A'ja, you guys have had ups and downs at the beginning of the season, but now you're on a 4-game win streak. What's been the biggest difference from the start of the season to how you guys are playing now?
I think the biggest thing, and I kind of said this before, I think in the start of the season, we kind of got shook. We were kind of on our back legs. We were on the ropes, and we didn't understand how to hit back, and we couldn't weather storms well. And I think this point of the season where we are now, we've understood how we have to sometimes take the punch, but also punch first and punch back in a lot of different situations, because this league is incredible. Every player, every team is elite at what they do, so we have to understand that we have to weather storms and also be ready for the punch.
Okay, so to piggyback on that, each season obviously is a unique challenge, but how much do you and Chelsea and Jackie and the core, and even Becky to a degree, your head coach, draw on the success that you guys have had in the past to know that you can get where you got to be and give yourselves a chance?
I think we pay attention to it somewhat, but not always, because the time has really changed. The league has changed. So the way that we won in the past may not look the same and be the same way that we can win now. So our biggest thing is just keeping the main thing, which is our system. We have to make sure that we show up to play and be our true selves every single night. And that is hard. It really is. But that's the separation from good to great. So we can continue to stack these wins, yes, but if we're doing it the right way, then that's what I'm like, all right, we're on the right path.
Well, as you talked about making those adjustments, and there have been 2 major adjustments to your team. You've got Jewell Loyd coming off the bench and the addition of NaLyssa Smith. How has that really contributed to the success you all are experiencing right now?
I mean, it's a huge piece. When you have a superstar like Jewell Loyd who's willing to come off the bench and kind of take that hit and be like, no, I can be this difference maker for us in a different way. It just goes to show our professionalism, and I'm just truly happy that to have her in our locker room and the way that she's using her voice, it goes a long, long way. And then when you add someone like NaLyssa Smith into the mix of just the way that she rebounds, and I think people tend to forget that she is a #2 draft pick. Like, she's really good at what she does. She's great at what she does, and to add that into our system, it's just another piece to our puzzle that we're making sure that we can all gel together at the right time.
All right, A'ja, we'll let you go. Get ready for the Liberty. Good luck tonight, and we'll see you later. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so as of right now, A'ja Wilson has the 3rd shortest odds to win her 4th MVP, according to ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The current favorite is Napheesa Collier, who is pacing the league in scoring, but has missed 3 straight games due to a right ankle sprain. All right, let's keep this conversation going. MVP race. When it comes to who's in contention, Coach, who are you looking at?
Well, you've got to talk about Napheesa Collier, and you talked about the points that she's scoring. She's shooting over 53% from the floor. She's bringing it on both ends, and she's put Minnesota where they are. But I think you have to consider the reigning MVP in A'ja Wilson. When you look at A'ja Wilson, she's had 6 30-point games this season. She's had 6 30-point double-double games this season. She's #2 in scoring, #2 off rebounds, and #1 in blocks. So she's bringing it on both sides of the floor. And then you have Alyssa Thomas. Now, Alyssa Thomas, she's got 4 triple-doubles. The rest of the league has 5. She has 4 on her own. She has 11 10-assist games. Like, she's distributing and doing it all. And then Alisha Gray. And look, no love for the guards. I mean, there's only been 3 guards that have been MVP. And I think that Alisha Gray is one of those players that has done that. She has hit 77 threes this season. She's really filled in the offense that Semesco brought, and I think that she's got to be in that conversation.
Vegas got to tighten up, because Alisha Gray should be before you would have Sabrina Ionescu in terms of odds, and that's just based off what she's been able to do with those Atlanta Dream teams. Now, I want to go back to AT, though.
Okay.
Because I think she is one who we lose track of, sort of, kind of. And to be fair, when you look at what she was doing prior to the All-Star break versus after the All-Star break, she missed 5 games at the beginning of June, trying to get healthy. This was a new team, new roster, wanted to see what it looked like. But she got to that 17 and 11 double-double average after All-Star break to go along with her averaging 16, 8, and 9. But let's take it to the tape, shall we?
Let's look at it.
The thing about Alyssa Thomas is that obviously when you average a triple-double, you can do it all, but she's actually in position to do something that's never been done in the league in terms of averaging double-digit scoring, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. But look at how versatile she is when you watch the film. She just came off of that 3 consecutive games of double-doubles, or triple-doubles, excuse me. All right, here's the thing. When AT has the basketball, her vision is she could go anywhere here, right? So she's waiting for this action to unfold. As this happens, this was a play, this to me, right here, before she gets into that action, there was a pass into the paint that she's capable of making. But here is the versatility of her size. When she goes to set a screen, it is an absolute wall. So you're going to see her turn on the jets, use that athleticism, the power that makes up her game, and just get an easy high percentage point here. But defenses they'll drop off, they'll give it a 3-point shot, but they have to pay attention otherwise. Here she's going to get a long rebound, y'all. But I want you to see, again, I call her a locomotive, a train. I want you to look at how quickly she's out, right? Look at how many people she's in front of. Gone. And this is not one of your guards. This is your 4 or 5, depending on who's on the floor for this Phoenix Mercury squad. Either way, you know her vision's there. She finds her teammate. That's an easy layup, and of course, she's celebrating with all of the energy. As much as Phoenix maybe isn't as popular in the conversation in terms of who could contend, they are currently holding on to that 4th seed, and a lot of it has to do with Alyssa Thomas as the centerpiece.
Now, I buy that with Alyssa Thomas, but I want to go back to you talking about moving Alicia Gray ahead of Asia Wilson.
I said
Sabrina.
Yeah, I was like, hold up.
Sabrina. Okay, above Sabrina.
I did say that.
But look at MVP. I just have this question. If you were going to build a franchise, who are you starting with from those 4?
Asia.
Duh.
That's tough.
Yeah. I mean, that's where, when I look at MVP and what the players mean to their team, that's where I think that when you take away any of those other 4 players, would their teams be able to continue to do what they're doing as opposed to what Vegas has got to have Asia Wilson?
That is interesting because if you look at it sort of through that lens, you could almost argue that the fact that Minnesota is still rolling without Fee is a little bit of a detraction. But I will say this. Earlier this season, while we were waiting for Phoenix to get healthy, waiting for the Aces to turn the corner, still wasn't sure about Atlanta, I thought the MVP was a runaway for Fee. She had just been that dominant, and Minnesota was that good. Now, with the injuries and other players turning the corner, it is getting a lot tighter.
I think the point that you made with Fee not being on the court for the Lynx and then being able to still roll is very interesting when it comes to the MVP conversation. We'll see how this goes moving forward. Now, time for tonight's leading scorer, brought to you by FanDuel. Asia Wilson and Sabrina Ionescu pace each of their teams in scoring, but the Liberty have added Emma Miesemann to their roster, who is averaging 14.6 points per game in her first 5 games. Emma's been a bucket for the Liberty, hasn't she?
Oh, God.
I think that's going to be a matchup problem. Can Alyssa Smith handle Emma Miesemann or Jonquel Jones?
Yeah, I thought the matchup would be more JJ Wilson, but I can see where this is going to be interesting because there's obviously going to be some switching involved and so they're all going to spend some time guarding one another.
And obviously the Liberty have had some injuries, especially with Stewie being out for a little bit, but a lot of players have stepped up in her absence.
And Sabrina Ionescu, it is fair for Vegas to have her in that conversation. She's having a terrific year, shooting lights out for sure. And it's interesting now that I'm thinking about this whole thing through, like Stewie wasn't on that list either.
Stewie's injury is the only thing that's keeping Stewie out.
Okay.
I mean, she's a very wonderful player. She's just, the injuries.
And she went into a season with that knee scope. All right, so we have game picks after the break. Coach is still undecided who she's picking, Liberty or Aces. We'll talk about it next on WNBA.